Welcome to the Oversight Global's The Energy of Gratitude series, where all month long we are deep diving into the practice of gratitude, a super quick, super easy, yet highly beneficial tool that you can use for positivity and success. My name is Angelie and I am your series host, as well as the founder of Oversight Global, which is an organization that addresses the consciousness crisis in the world by advocating for awareness and consciousness. We strive to educate and empower individuals and businesses to be aware of and strive to meet their fullest potential and uniquely contribute to the world. Today, I want to welcome our guest, Bev Ehrlich. As a relationship coach, Bev supports others in getting what they want, giving their partner what they need, and then cherishing and enjoying the closeness that healthy getting and giving brings. She addresses the question of how do we heal, grow, and thrive as people? She firmly believes it's in relationship. We are wired for connection. Bev shares insights on how our early childhood experiences impact our adult relationships. Through compassionate listening and gentle exploration, those shadows and often painful events can be integrated and healed so that we can have the closeness we long for. Bev's core passion is educating and empowering others to live with a deeper level of consciousness and authentic expression so that we may feel committed to respect both ourselves and our partners at the same time. She and her husband have done and continue to do the work themselves. They walk the talk and believe wholeheartedly in the work. Much of what she offers her clients are things that she has done that have radically improved her own life and relationships. And that's why she's so passionate about helping others to do the same. So Bev, welcome. So excited that you are here today.
Lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So let's go ahead and dive into some questions for you.
Our first gratitude expression.
Yeah, exactly. So tell me, so what does gratitude mean to you?
Such a beautiful question. So for me, it means just noticing what's around you, what supports you in your day, what gives you joy, what brings love and kindness to the world. And something that was triggered when you were speaking about your more global contribution is even noticing more full respect living. Mm-hmm. You know, we might not be able to solve a global crisis, peace in the Middle East, but we can bring more kindness and full respect living to our bedrooms and just begin right there.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that, everything starts with, yourself, your number one. And then everything how you grow and then how you really impact the environment around you and people around you. There's this ripple effect, whether, we've seen what a negative person can do, how much damage that they can do to people around them and, their community. So just think about what people are able to do when they're positive, and what that impact and that ripple effect looks like. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. So tell me, so how have you found that gratitude affects you and your life? What kind of experiences have you had with that?
So before I answer that directly, I just want to relate to something you said about showing up either positively or negatively. Mm-hmm. What that does when we do see how blessed we are and what gifts we have in the day, it brings us closer together rather than pulling us apart. If I'm feeling negative, I might be feeling protective, and then I can't be connected. I can't be protected and connected at the same time. And that would segue for me into what gratitude is when I meet someone or I get even triggered, say, in the day, to think, to pause, to take that pause and think, what is the gift in this interaction for me? So from there, how does gratitude affect me? So gratitude really has had a ripple effect in my own life. So my husband and I took on a gratitude practice where we would share at the end of our day 3 things we're grateful for. And what I noticed is number one, some of the gratitudes expressed, especially my husband, might be the same thing. Like, let's say he came home safely from work, right? That's not to be taken for granted. So it doesn't matter that it's the same gratitude, but it really is something not to be taken for granted. Mm-hmm. But what I noticed in myself, and we've spoken about this, he and I, is that it's done this expansion to noticing a lot more than 3 during the day. We might only mention 3 to each other. I then go on and have some quiet time where I go through more of my own day and express gratitude quietly. But it's just kind of I'm just able to walk around with so much more, my eyes are more open to seeing the good. That way.
Yeah, definitely. I want to touch on something that you mentioned earlier about you can't be connected and protected at the same time. I think that's a huge insight to be aware of. I know that looking back kind of at I call it my past life because a few years ago I'm definitely not the same person I was a few years ago. I'm going through my growing process, but during that time, a lot of time I spent in my life, I was walking around very protective. And, I definitely now in hindsight see what you're saying. You can't be protected and be connected at the same time. You really need to have that openness. And it's hard for a lot of people. I know it was hard for me because I was so protected, and it was because I didn't trust. And I thought it was because I didn't trust others, but I really wasn't trusting myself. So I think that's a huge thing that you pointed out that, I think touch a lot of people.
Right, and it's an intelligent function. Being protected, if that's what you need to do, is an intelligent function, but it's usually out of date. It's an intelligent adaptation to a younger time in your life. When you were younger, what was going on in your home. It doesn't work as an adult when you want to form adult, mature connections and relationships. You do need to take risks, you do need to trust, and you do need to be vulnerable in order to make the connections with other people.
Yes.
And protection and preservation won't necessarily allow you. That's the younger part of ourselves.
Yeah, very interesting that you mentioned that, because it definitely is. And I think, because the society that we grow up in and kind of the expectations that we're kind of all kind of go through, it doesn't, we don't learn that our relationship as children are different compared to what relationships as adults might be. And, we're never taught that, or we're never learn that in the proper way. It really is something that we kind of discover as we're going through adulthood. And sometimes, it's like, well, I wish I had known that earlier type of thing.
Absolutely. Because going through our adult lives with a childlike mindset, I call it our adaptive child. Mm-hmm. Firstly, our society rewards adaptive children. We get rewarded for being black and white, inflexible, not nuanced. We get rewarded, but it makes such a mess of our relationships. You see people who are doing great in businesses, but in their personal lives, they're making an awful mess because this younger part is showing up and running the show. And the younger part is only interested in preservation and keeping us separate.
Yes, definitely. So can you tell us a little bit of how we can utilize gratitude to start to, kind of make that transition from a childlike mindset to more of, adult and being more open and being more connected? Can we utilize gratitude to help us make that transition?
Right. I highly recommend it. I invite people to take, there's a lot of work that needs to be done, obviously, sometimes on our adaptive child, and we get into our wise adult. But if we can remember, the wise adult part, the prefrontal cortex, is interested in connection. And that means if we just take that pause sometimes in our interactions and notice, this person isn't my enemy. I'm so grateful that we're here today having this conversation. Let me just take this pause and see who is the person that I'm speaking to. And then we can expand that to beautiful, God-given or higher purpose. things that we see from nature in our lives. And so the ripples can expand and expand and expand through gratitude, of just taking that pause and appreciating. Gratitude is really, I appreciate. And living from that mindset is, I appreciate you. I appreciate that I have a desk with my laptop on, that there's a laptop here. Goes from that interaction further and further out in our lives. And yeah, we just come through as nicer people, kinder people. And that speaks into, again, what you were saying about your global impact. If we can just be kinder, number one, to ourselves, notice what's going on between our ears, and then kinder to the other. You know, I often tell my couples, homework this week, please be kind to each other, kind to yourselves.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. Taking a pause and really thinking about being intentional with your gratefulness. So you mentioned appreciation. So do you feel like there's a difference between gratitude and appreciation?
It might be nuanced, but I don't think it's significant in terms of the feeling that it creates, and the response it creates. And what I would say to newbies is literally just take 5 minutes to just look around and say, what can I be appreciative of? And then, of course, if you can express it to the people in your lives, like I really appreciate the fact that we made up a certain time today and you showed up on time. Just the simple little beginnings, and you'll just see how everything opens up and the world is a much more beautiful place.
Yeah, definitely. And then, touching on appreciation, gratitude and appreciation in relationships. I know that, when I was working, especially as a leader and manager, like I said in the beginning, gratitude it's such an easy practice, and it doesn't take time. It doesn't take money. It's something that's very small, but it has such a high impact. I know that, when I had a team and I had staff members, just taking those few seconds to say, thank you for doing that, or thank you for being here. Thank you for what you do. It went such a long way. It's such an easy, doesn't cost anything, doesn't take you time. But it's just, again, being in that awareness of, I really am grateful for this person. I appreciate them. I want to express that to them so that they know.
Absolutely. That's so beautiful. I hear that people aren't attracted to a job. They might be attracted to the job because of the salary and the position, but they stay when they're appreciated. And that's so beautiful. And what I also tell my couples is to try and notice, especially when there are couples who are only noticing the negative, to try and be very specific and detailed. You know what I noticed? You took the dog out today. It was so nice that you did that and I didn't have to do that. Be very specific. The rest of the day you were a real dickhead. But we're not going to say that, right? We're going to try and see a little detail. Okay, because a dickhead is just something general and it doesn't contribute to anything.
Right.
So what did you do today that was helpful? And then from that, you can expand into, it would really be helpful if you could do the morning walk, the evening walk as well. Is that possible? And then your partner might not give you everything. They might say, I can do that 3 times a week. I can make that commitment. Would it be help? Maybe you need to get a babysitter or a dog walker for the other days in the week if you can't manage it. That's where we talk about negotiation. We can't get everything, but let's appreciate what we can get, the 5% that we got, and let's make a note of it. I always say at the end of the request that we make from our partners is to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for understanding that. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I love that you mentioned that to be specific in details. I know, in my relationship with my husband, when you were explaining that, the book, The 5 Love Languages came to mind, and how, throughout my relationship and my marriage with my husband, trying to figure out what your love languages are, and then kind of making sure that your partner knows what that is. it really takes that open communication and with specifics, like you mentioned, because, when you're specific and, thanking your partner for doing the dishes, then they know, start to understand what your love language is, that, I feel loved when you help me in the kitchen. Whereas, they might think, he used to think that my love language was him washing my car. I didn't care if my car was washed, but, I really appreciated when he helped me in the kitchen. So I think that's great that you mentioned that, if you're expressing gratitude, especially to your partner, and using specifics, it really helps to start to understand one another and start to really, work with one another and cooperate in a way that is really, really positive. And you don't have those thoughts in the back of your head, well, they're not expressing love. Well, in his mind, he is, but it's just not connecting with you.
Sometimes couples get stuck before that stage of negotiation.
Yeah.
Of saying what it is, clearly, what they need. It's very important. We think that we shouldn't have to ask people we love for what we want, but that's the negotiation. That's asking for what you need in a kind way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, some great points coming up here. So I think that takes us into, it's a great segue into our next question. We're talking about relationships and having a better relationship with your partner. So how do you feel that gratitude should be regarded in the world, especially kind of thinking about the couple of years that we've had worldwide with this pandemic? How can people really utilize the practice of gratitude to kind of, move forward and especially in what seems like it's going to be a new type of world with, the coronavirus?
Right. So I think for me, it's always chunking it back down to the specific. Mm-hmm. So again, it's possibly the street cleaner. Thank you. Good morning. Mm-hmm. Or the street looks really clean today. Thank you. It's really chunking it down into those small pieces. You make a phone call to someone you don't know who in an office who you want help, whatever. Thank you. Have a good day. Mm-hmm. It's just those small places where you can show up more connected and more kindly. And that's what gratitude will give you. And you'll feel it. You'll feel it in your heart. Your heart sings because we are wired for connection. And that's what you were saying. What I was saying, and you read in my bio. Mm-hmm. That's what we feel. That's where we grow. Healthy connections open our hearts. They're good for boost our health. They're good for our immune systems. They're good for so many things. But we have to be aware of what our part is in good relationships and healthy relationships. And gratitude plays a very big part, seeing the good.
Do you have, some tips or, tricks for people who are beginners that, don't haven't explored gratitude before, how they can, easily get started?
Right. So I would definitely start with setting either a time in the day, either it can be in the morning, so grateful that whatever, or it can be in the evening, or it can be setting yourself a goal. I'm just going to see as I go through my day if I can notice 3 things I'm grateful for. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing that I would do. And the other thing I would try and remember and invite people to remember is that there's nothing that harshness does that loving kindness won't do better. Mm. And I tried that out just the other day. Somebody was yelling me. I had been given the key to a tennis court. And as I approached, this huge man was on his phone yelling at me, you can't come on the court, you can't come on the court. Mm-hmm. And I said, could you just come and speak softly? Can you just lower your voice so that I can hear what it is you want to tell me? And this man just kind of deflated. Mm-hmm. But just in that moment, I felt I could connect with him and I let him go. I wasn't going to let him just bully me in a loud way. There's nothing that harshness does. A little bit of tenderness won't do better.
Yeah, no, I love that you shared that with us and how, we can take that moment to stand up for ourselves, but in a kind way. You know, it doesn't need to be yelling back or starting a conflict. You know, you can, you know, empower yourself, and in a way you empowered him as well, you know, to kind of flip that switch to, you know, stop yelling and to be kinder. So that's great.
Right. So we can stand up for ourselves while also respecting our partner, and women particularly.
Yes.
Sometimes need to learn this. Express your gratitude and you will get more of what you want. And that's very important in a relationship. Get more of what you want and you need, as well as giving. Because that helps us cherish the closeness that giving and getting will bring.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for mentioning that. So, oh my gosh, you've shared so much great knowledge and insight. So can you tell our viewers a little bit more about you, what you do, and how they can connect and follow you?
Sure. So I work as a relationship coach, helping couples sometimes come back from the brink of a separation, helping them recognize how their very often young childhoods impact their adult connections, and working on the healing that comes. And that's what good relationship actually is. There's harmony, there's rupture repair, again and again and again. And very often those partners come to show us what the way to repair is. But if you're stuck, definitely seek help. There are lots of tools that we need to learn. So people can visit my website, and there's some free videos they can download and articles and blogs to read. And if any of your audience would like a session, I'd be so delighted to give them a session if they want to just unravel some of the questions they may have and the challenges that they're facing in their relationships. Let's jump on a call and see how I can help you and what's going on for you, and how you can get into a healthier relational recovery.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. So we'll go ahead and include links to your website, those videos they can download, and how to connect with you for a free session in our video description below. So last question. So do you have any final thoughts or key takeaways for our viewers today?
Just get going. Don't wait for perfection. There's never the perfect time. Start right now. It's almost like a diet, right? Or I can say to my clients, you're starting right now to behave differently in your relationship. It doesn't have to be next week. So start today, however many hours are left in your day. Start today and start noticing just 3 things, and you'll notice so many more than 3. And just commit to that. I'm going to look for these 3 things every day. Start with it today.
Yeah, I love that. Just get started. Don't wait. Just do it. Just jump right in. Well, thank you again, Bev, for being here and for sharing your knowledge and insight with us. It was so wonderful. And then I just want to thank the audience for being here and for watching us as well. So be sure to check out the other episodes of our Energy of Gratitude series if you're getting as much out of it as I am. Be sure to let your friends, family, and others know. And be sure to subscribe below if you haven't already to get notified of our future episodes and videos on our channel. So thanks again, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.